Temperatures are cooling off. We've got clear skies, and overall it's a fairly tranquil night ahead. As we take a look at your 24, we are expecting those conditions to really continue throughout the evening. The wind keeps getting lighter. Skies remain mostly clear. Might have a few high, thin clouds here and there. Temps will be dropping back into the 20s after midnight, and 20s is where we'll start things off early Wednesday morning. Now, Wednesday is looking like a very quiet weather day and almost a carbon copy of today. If anything, it gets a touch warmer tomorrow afternoon. So we'll start off clear, seasonably cold in the morning, so you'll need the coat heading out the door. Temps are up to about 40 in Northampton, 41 in Westfield at 10 a.m. We're climbing out of the 30s elsewhere, and middle to upper 40s will be our afternoon highs. We'll see a few high, thin clouds through the afternoon, but overall a beautiful weather day, and breezes should be at about 5 to as much as 10 miles an hour on occasion. So light breezes, mostly clear skies, dry air. I mean, it's beautiful out there. As we take a look at your 24 temperature swings, it is going to be a fairly good one for tomorrow, thanks to high pressure being in control. The high is going to give us the dry conditions. It's going to allow for the cold morning and then the milder afternoon. We're looking at similar setup for Thanksgiving Day, too. Breezes stay on the light side tomorrow out of the west-northwest at 5 to 10, down even further on Thursday. Then we'll start talking about an increase in gusty breezes Friday and this weekend with 2 storm systems that we'll be tracking. Now, Thanksgiving Day is going to be dry and quiet across all of southern New England. Plenty of sunshine, good for traveling to friends, families' houses, or just staying at home. We've got middle to upper 40s expected, light wind, and some high, thin clouds that'll be increasing Thursday night. Friday starts off mostly cloudy. We've got some light rain that looks to arrive by midday, so close to noon we'll start to see some showers. For all the Black Friday shoppers, those early morning shoppers should be okay. The cloud cover keeping it mild, but the afternoon is looking a little bit wet. Temperatures climbing into the 50s, especially in southeastern New England, 58 possibly in Nantucket. But this is the first round of 2 rounds of wet weather coming in this weekend. First is a cold front, and that's the one that's approaching on Friday. The good news is there's not much rain coming in with it. While we are expecting a high probability of rain, we're only expecting a few hundredths of an inch. So it's going to be very light stuff. It's more of an inconvenience than anything else. We're going to be blustery for Friday night. Might even see a rain or snow shower in the Berkshires, but it'll eventually dry everybody out. Saturday is looking like a really nice weather day, actually. We'll be dry. We'll see some good sunshine. A more potent area of low pressure is going to come up out of the southwest and travel almost right over southern New England on Sunday. So this is going to bring a decent swath of rain to the area. Timing is still a little uncertain, but it looks like the rain gets started sometime Sunday morning and will wrap up late Sunday night. We could actually see closer to a ½ inch to an inch of rain with this system, and it may come with some gusty breezes too. So looking at our 10-day forecast, it's looking beautiful through Thanksgiving. Friday, we've got some rain, but it stays on the light side. We're up to 50 degrees. Saturday, breezy with a high of 54 and good sunshine. And then it looks like more of a washout on Sunday with highs in the low 50s. Breezy and cooler for early next week as we're back to the low 40s, and we may see a light wintry mix Wednesday night and a rainy start to the month of December. Chris, back to you.